Now the flooding that won't stop in the Southeast Asian nation of Thailand. Margaret Warner has our update.
Don Mueang Airport was more river port today as floodwaters broke through protective barriers around the Thai capital's main domestic air hub.
Well, all the flights for today are cancelled because apparently the water is coming here.
Bangkok's other airports, serving mainly international flights, remained open. But Don Mueang also faced a flood of people. It has become a refuge for thousands displaced, some under government edict, by the flooding. Today, officials ordered some to be moved to ease crowding. One displaced woman was near wit's end.
Because the authorities have ordered us to leave, we have to leave, as they cannot let us stay here. I don't have any money, so I have to leave this center. But this is really upsetting. So many people have come to this evacuation center, and there is not enough food for everybody.
More than 350 people have died in Thailand over 3 months of monsoon and typhoon-borne rain that have swamped much of Southeast Asia. 1/3 of Thailand's provinces have been inundated, affecting millions of people. Bangkok, a city of 9 million, remains largely dry, but the Chao Phraya River, which flows through the city, has flooded 7 northern districts. And anxiety is rising with the floodwaters. The airport closure was the latest blow to the Thai government's efforts to save the city from being swamped. The agency it created to manage the crisis, housed at Don Mueang Airport, is now in danger itself of being submerged. On Monday, Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra sought to calm nervous Thais and investors who've seen large swaths of Thailand's industrial zones flooded.
I
want the foreign investors who are currently investing in Thailand and those who plan to invest here to continue having confidence in Thailand, because we have a plan for the investments, a plan to solve the flooding problem, and we have mega projects so that the industrial business can quickly recover.
Waters north of Bangkok have now stabilized or begun receding. But with massive runoff still moving downstream, for the capital, the worst is yet to come. For more on the situation, I spoke with Patrick Wynn of Global Post in Bangkok earlier this evening. Patrick Wynn, thank you for joining us. You were out at the airport today. What was it like? Was there water on the airport grounds?
Absolutely, yeah. When I arrived, I could see floods sort of creeping in from the distance. By the time I left, they had totally encroached on the airport. So there's talk of evacuating that airport. It's a bit of an embarrassment for the government because that's their flood relief center, and that's been one of their largest evacuation centers. So the fact that they sent a lot of people to a relief shelter that now has to be evacuated is a bit of an upset.
And what was the scene at the evacuation center inside the airport?
Well, it was fairly orderly, but there's about, I would say, 2,000, 3,000 people there, and it's just been turned into a tent city. Everything is okay there. People have food. There's a big, long queue for the showers. But I think the real worry is how long people are going to have to stay there. There are predictions that the floods could just sort of be soaking Bangkok and its environs for another 4 to 6 weeks.
As you move around Bangkok, how different is the picture in different parts of the city?
Well, Bangkok has turned into Sandbag City. Even the heart of the city, which may or may not flood, there's sandbags around all the financial centers, around all the shops. Part of that may show some distrust in the government. They've said that these parts of the city may or may not flood. People are not risking it. They're walling off their homes with sandbags, even though it's not clear the floods will be that bad in the core of the city.
And what are Thai officials predicting now about whether the center of the city will be flooded?
Just how deep the floods will be in the city center and how long they'll last is unclear. But officials have promised to empty out the water if it does come into the city center as quickly as possible. It's going to cost a lot of money and displace a lot of people the closer it comes to the core of the city.
How is the public reacting to all this?
There was a collegiate poll with a fairly small sample size, only about 450, 500 people, that suggested about 85% of people polled felt that the government was sending mixed messages, that it wasn't clear when and where the floods were going to hit according to the government's predictions. There's been a big run on instant noodles. That seems to be the emergency food of choice here in Bangkok. All you need is hot water to eat them. 7-Eleven shelves, depending on where you are in the city, are pretty empty. Everyone is definitely doing a lot of panic buying. And the government has even told people, stock up on bottled water as the floods come into the core of the city.
This flooding started up north back in August. What's been the economic impact so far?
800,000 homes have been destroyed, millions have been displaced. The World Bank is predicting that Thailand's annual GDP for this year could slip by 2%. So you've got a lot of people that can't go to work. You've got a lot of kids that can't go to school. All these people have to be fed, sheltered. They need electricity. Babies need diapers. Women are arriving to evacuation centers pregnant.
And what about exports?
Thailand is an export economy. They produce namely pickup trucks, electronic parts. A lot of these are part of a supply chain that goes on to China. So there's going to be there's predicted that there could be a shortage of certain parts that go into computers. But overall, exports are going to take a big hit. You know, Thailand is the biggest rice exporter in the world, and there are untold numbers of crops that are just soaking and rotting right now.
So what's the government's plan now for dealing with this? Have they had to regroup since the airport's been flooded?
Right. The plan now, I think, is to hope that the embankments hold and to keep the pumping stations running as quickly as possible and to hopefully give people accurate and precise information so they can plan and evacuate if need be. But to an extent, there's only so much the government can do. This is a horrible natural disaster, and the water is going to come into Bangkok. We're just not sure just how bad it's going to be.
Patrick Wynn of Global Post in Bangkok, thanks so much.
Thank you, Margaret.